The remote in Yuna's hand could kill Emika in 90 seconds. And she was counting down.
10, 9, 8.
Taehyun looked at Ada. The woman he loved. The brother she would die for. One of them had to go. Yuna was making him choose. Right now. In this rusted warehouse at the edge of Seoul. With dawn breaking through the grimy windows and his heart breaking in his chest. 7. 6. 5. Ada's eyes met his. She was already calculating. Already preparing to sacrifice herself. He could see it in the set of her jaw, the way her weight shifted forward. She was going to do something stupid and brave and he was going to lose her. 4. 3. 2. Pause. If this is your first time here, you just walked into the finale of this series, and trust me, you need the full story. Parts 1 and 2 are waiting for you in the channel. But if you've been here, if you watched her find love, watched him choose her over his empire, watched everything fall apart, then you know this moment has been coming. Subscribe. Buckle up. Let's finish this. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back. 3 hours earlier. When their plane touched down in Seoul at 3 a.m. When they still thought they could save everyone. They were wrong. The city lights spread below them like scattered diamonds as the plane descended. Beautiful and deadly. Taehyun watched Ada's reflection in the window, saw the fear she was trying to hide behind clenched fists and a steady gaze. Last chance to turn around, he said quietly. We could tell the pilot to refuel. Disappear to somewhere she'll never find us. Ada's jaw set. And let my brother die? Never. Minjun waited at the private terminal. He looked like hell. Dark circles carved beneath his eyes, his usually immaculate suit wrinkled, his hands shaking as he approached them. Taehyun had known this man for 15 years. Had trusted him with secrets that could destroy empires. Now he looked at him and saw a stranger. She's waiting for you, Minjun said without preamble. No greeting. No apology. Just the facts delivered like a death sentence. Where's Emika? Ada's voice was ice. Pure Lego steel wrapped in winter. Safe. For now. At the old Biko clan warehouse in Incheon. Minjun held out a phone, his hand trembling slightly. She wants you there at dawn. Both of you. Alone. This phone is tracked. She'll know if you call for backup. Taehyun stepped forward, his voice dropping to that deadly quiet register that had made grown men confess their sins. Minjun. Are you helping her? She has evidence that could put me in prison for life. Video of me doing things that. Minjun swallowed hard, couldn't meet his eyes. It doesn't matter. I don't have a choice. Everyone has a choice. Ada stepped forward, and despite being half Minjun's size, she seemed to tower over him. You're choosing to save yourself instead of an innocent man in a hospital bed. My brother. Who never hurt anyone. Who came to Seoul because he was worried about me. I'm sorry, Minjun whispered. Sorry doesn't save Emika. Ada turned away from him like he was already dead. Let's go, Taehyun. We're wasting time. In the car, the Seoul skyline sliding past in a blur of neon and shadow, Ada sat rigid in the passenger seat. Her hands were clasped in her lap, knuckles pale, and Taehyun could see the tremor she was fighting to control. You're shaking, he said. I'm scared. She didn't look at him, kept her eyes fixed on the passing lights. Emika came to Seoul because of me. Because he was worried about his little sister playing with fire. And now he's lying in some warehouse with machines keeping him alive and it's my fault. All of it. It's not your fault. Then whose fault is it? She finally turned to look at him, and the rawness in her eyes nearly broke him. I chose to stay. I chose you. And Emika paid the price. Taehyun pulled the car over. The city hummed around them, indifferent to their pain. Then I'll pay it back, he said, taking her hands. Whatever happens in that warehouse, you get Emika out. You run. You don't look back. And leave you? If it means you survive? Yes. Ada searched his face, looking for the lie, finding none. He meant it. This man who had commanded armies, who had held the power of life and death over thousands, was offering himself up without hesitation. Taehyun, she started. Promise me, Ada. A long pause. The weight of what he was asking settled between them. I promise, she finally said. She didn't mean it. But he didn't need to know that. They drove on. Hands clasped. Knuckles white. The warehouse waited. The building loomed against the pre-dawn sky like a rotting tooth. Abandoned. Rusted. Metal sheets peeling from its frame, windows shattered and gaping. The perfect place for a final confrontation. The perfect place to bury secrets. They entered through the main door. It creaked open, unlocked, because this was a trap and Yuno wanted them to know it. Wanted them to walk in with eyes wide open. Wanted them afraid. Taehyun. Ada. Right on time. Yuna stepped from the shadows. She wore white. A designer dress that looked like a wedding gown or a funeral shroud, depending on how the light caught it. Her hair hung loose around her shoulders, makeup flawless, but her eyes were wild. Broken in a way that couldn't be fixed with therapy or time or revenge. She had crossed into a place beyond reason, and she had no intention of coming back. Behind her, strapped to a medical chair, was Emeka. Still unconscious. Still on a ventilator. Wires and tubes snaking from his body to machines that beeped with mechanical indifference. But alive. Against all odds, still alive. Ada lunged forward. Emeka. Stop right there. Yuna raised a remote control, her thumb hovering over a red button. One press and the machines keeping him alive shut off. He has maybe 90 seconds after that. So I suggest you listen very carefully. Ada froze mid-step. Good. You can be trained. Yuna circled them slowly, the hem of her white dress trailing through the dust like a ghost. 5 years. Do you know what 5 years of hate does to a person? How it hollows you out until revenge is the only thing that makes you feel alive. The only thing that gets you out of bed in the morning? Yuna, I'm sorry, Taehyun started. Oh, you're sorry. How wonderful. Does your apology bring back my child? Silence. The word hung in the air like a blade. Child. Taehyun's face drained of color. Ada looked between them, suddenly aware she was missing something massive. Something that changed everything. What child? Taehyun's voice barely worked. Yuna's smile was a wound, bleeding pain and fury in equal measure. The baby I was carrying when you ended our engagement. She stepped closer, each word a knife. 2 months pregnant, Taehyun. I had the test results in my purse. A little pink plus sign that was going to change everything. Our everything. Taehyun's legs buckled. He caught himself on a rusted beam, the metal cold against his palm. I was going to tell you that night. Over dinner. Make it special. Candles and champagne and the rest of our lives stretching out ahead of us. Yuna's voice cracked, but her hand on the remote never wavered. But you didn't even let me order. You just said the words. I can't do this. And you left. Yuna, Taehyun choked out. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I know you didn't know. The scream tore through the warehouse, echoing off the rusted walls. Because you were too busy feeling sorry for yourself. Too busy deciding you weren't ready for marriage. You didn't even look at me that night. You just ended it. Like I was a business deal you were canceling. Like 5 years meant nothing. Tears streamed down Yuna's face, cutting tracks through her perfect makeup, but her grip on the remote stayed iron steady. I lost that baby 3 weeks later. Stress, the doctor said. Heartbreak. Her voice dropped to a whisper that was somehow worse than the screaming. I held what could have been our son in my hands. I knew it was a boy. I just knew. And I buried him alone. Because you were already gone. Taehyun fell to his knees on the dirty concrete floor, Yuna. Oh God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry doesn't bury our son, Taehyun. Sorry doesn't fill the hole where my heart used to be. The warehouse was silent except for the mechanical beeping of Emika's life support. Ada watched the man she loved kneeling in the dust, broken by a truth he'd never known. Watched the woman before them, destroyed by a grief she'd carried alone for 5 years. You would have married me out of obligation? Yuna continued, her voice steadier now, colder. Stayed with me out of guilt? I don't want your pity, Taehyun. I want you to hurt like I hurt. I want you to lose everything like I did. Then take it. Taehyun rose to his feet, his voice raw but certain. Take your revenge on me. Kill me. I deserve it. But let Ada and Emika go. They have nothing to do with this. They're innocent. Oh, but they have everything to do with this. Yuna's face twisted with something beyond anger, beyond hate. Because she gets to have you. She gets your love, your devotion, your protection. You gave up your entire empire for her. Walked away from everything your father built. You couldn't do that for me. For our child. But for some cleaner you've known 3 months? You'll burn down the world. Because I love her. And you didn't love me. Yuna's control shattered completely. That's what kills me. Not that you left. That you never loved me in the first place. I was just convenient. Just the right bloodline, the right connections, the right face for your arm at galas. I was nothing to you. That's not true. Then why did you leave? The question hung in the air. Taehyun stood silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. Because you scared me. Yuna blinked. What? You were perfect. Too perfect. Beautiful, intelligent, powerful. You would have been an incredible partner. An incredible mother. His voice dropped even lower. And I knew. I knew I would destroy you. Because that's what I do. I'm my father's son. Violence and control and darkness. You deserved better than that. Better than me. So you left to protect me? I left because I was a coward. Because I couldn't face becoming the husband you deserved. So I told myself you'd find someone better. Someone who could love you right. Taehyun's eyes glistened in the dim light. I was wrong. I was selfish and wrong, and I'm so sorry for the pain I caused. Yuna stood frozen, the remote trembling slightly in her hand. You don't get to do this, she whispered. You don't get to apologize and make this okay. I'm not trying to make it okay. What I did is unforgivable. Taehyun took another step toward her. But Yuna, killing them won't bring back our child. It won't heal your pain. It'll just make you into something you're not. And what am I? Someone who deserved better. Someone who still deserves better than becoming a murderer. For a moment, just a moment, something flickered in Yuna's eyes. A crack in the armor. A glimpse of the woman she'd been before grief had twisted her into something unrecognizable. Then it hardened. Beautiful words. But words don't change anything. She raised the remote, her thumb pressing against the button. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to choose. Right now. Her or her brother. One of them dies. You pick. No. You have 10 seconds. Choose or I kill them both. 10. 9. 8. Taehyun looked at Ada. The agony in his eyes nearly broke her. She saw him calculating, trying to find a way out, finding nothing. 7. 6. 5. Ada's mind raced. Emika couldn't die. He was innocent. He had a whole life ahead of him. But if she died, Taehyun would never forgive himself. Would spiral back into the darkness she'd pulled him from. Would become the monster his father had always wanted. 4. 3. 2. Wait. Ada's voice rang out across the warehouse. I'll make you a deal. Yuna paused, her thumb still pressed against the button. What? Let me talk to you. Woman to woman. Just us. Ada stepped forward, her hands raised, her voice steady despite the terror coursing through her veins. 5 minutes. That's all I ask. If you still want to kill us after, then do it. But give me 5 minutes first. Ada, don't, Taehyun started. Trust me. She didn't look at him. Kept her eyes locked on Yuna. Please. Trust me. Yuna studied her for a long moment. This woman who had stolen everything she'd wanted. This woman who had somehow earned what Yuna had been denied. Fine. 5 minutes. She gestured toward Taehyun. Move to the other side of the warehouse. Now. He hesitated. Go. Yuna's finger hovered over the button. Or I end this right now. Taehyun moved. Slowly, reluctantly, putting distance between himself and the two women. His eyes never left Ada, silently begging her to be careful, to survive, to do whatever it took. When he was far enough away, Ada stepped close to Yuna. Close enough to see the broken blood vessels in her eyes from crying. Close enough to smell her expensive perfume and the sharp edge of fear beneath it. I know what it's like to lose everything, Ada said quietly. You know nothing about me. I know you loved him. Really loved him. Not the idea of him, not his money or his power. Him. Ada's voice was gentle, the same voice she'd used to calm her brother during thunderstorms when they were children. I know you imagined a future. A family. Growing old together. I know because that's what I imagine with him every single day. Yuna's lip trembled. I also know what it's like to lose a child. Yuna's eyes snapped up. What? When I was 19, I got pregnant. The father was a boy from my neighborhood. We were going to get married. Build a life together. Ada's voice remained steady, though her eyes had gone distant, looking at something far away. I was 4 months along when I miscarried. My body just rejected the pregnancy. The doctors said it happens sometimes. Bad luck, they called it. I didn't know. No one does. I've never told anyone. Not my mother. Not Emika. Not even Taehyun. Ada's eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. I held my daughter. I knew somehow it was a girl. And I buried that dream alone. And for a long time, I thought I'd never survive it. How did you? Yuna's voice was barely a whisper. I chose to. Every single day, I chose to wake up and keep going. Because the alternative was letting that loss destroy me. Becoming something I didn't recognize. Ada reached out slowly, carefully, the way you'd approach a wounded animal. Yuna, you have every right to be angry. To hate Taehyun. To hate me. But killing us won't bring back your baby. It won't heal the hole inside you. Then what will? Yuna's voice broke on the question. I don't know. Maybe nothing ever fully heals it. Maybe you carry it forever. Ada's hand touched Yuna's arm, and Yuna didn't pull away. But you can choose to carry it differently. Not as a weapon. As a memory. As proof that you loved something so much it still hurts. Yuna's shoulders began to shake. He left me. He left our baby. He didn't know. And yes, he should have handled it better. Should have been honest. Should have loved you the way you deserved. Ada's grip tightened gently. But making him watch you kill me? That doesn't make you powerful. It makes you like the people who hurt you. Is that who you want to be? For a long moment, Yuna stood frozen. The remote in her hand. The choice before her. 5 years of rage and grief and planning, all leading to this moment. Then the remote slipped from her fingers and clattered to the concrete floor. And Yuna collapsed. Ada caught her as she fell, held her while she sobbed. This broken, dangerous woman who'd lost everything and nearly destroyed them all. Who had come so close to becoming a monster and pulled back at the last second. I can't do it, Yuna gasped against Ada's shoulder. I thought I could but I can't. I know. I know. Ada held her tighter. You're stronger than this. Stronger than revenge. Across the warehouse, Taehyun watched in stunned silence. He'd prepared himself for violence. For death. For sacrifice. He hadn't prepared himself for this. For the sight of Ada holding his ex-fiancée while she wept. For the impossible grace of forgiveness in action. Slowly, carefully, he approached. Yuna. His voice was soft, stripped of everything but genuine remorse. I'm sorry. For all of it. For not seeing you. For not being brave enough to stay and fight for us. For leaving when you needed me most. Yuna looked up at him, mascara streaking her face, eyes red and swollen. I hate you, she whispered. I know. I wanted to destroy you. I know. But she's right. Yuna glanced at Ada. Killing you won't bring him back. Our son. It won't change anything. No. It won't. Taehyun knelt beside them on the dusty floor. But maybe, if you let us, we can help you find another way forward. Why would you help me? After everything I've done? Because you're not evil. You're in pain. And I've caused enough pain for one lifetime. He extended his hand toward her. Let us help. Please. Yuna stared at his hand for a long moment. Then, slowly, she took it. I need help, she admitted. Real help. Not revenge. Not violence. I need to learn how to live with this. We'll find you the best doctors. The best therapists. Whatever you need. Taehyun helped her stand. And Yuna? The baby. Our son. He mattered. His life mattered. I'm sorry I never got to meet him. That broke her completely. She collapsed into Taehyun's arms and wept for the child they'd lost. For the future that would never be. For 5 years of pain she'd carried alone. And Taehyun held her, this woman he'd failed, and finally gave her the closure she deserved. Ada stepped back, watching them. Feeling no jealousy. Only grief. Only the shared understanding of loss that connected them all now. After a long moment, Yuna pulled away. Wiped her face. Looked at Ada with something like gratitude. Thank you, she said. For seeing me as a person instead of a villain. You were never a villain. Just someone in pain. Ada squeezed her hand. Now let's get you help. Yuna was taken away in an ambulance an hour later, sedated and stable, on her way to the best psychiatric facility in South Korea. Min Jun had come clean about the blackmail, turned over all the evidence to Taehyun's lawyers. But Taehyun stood in the empty warehouse, staring at the chair where Emika had been strapped, and couldn't move. You okay? Ada touched his arm. I had a son. His voice was hollow. A son I'll never meet. Because I was a coward. You didn't know. That's the problem, isn't it? I never tried to know. I just ran. From her. From responsibility. From everything. He looked at Ada with red-rimmed eyes. What if I do the same to you? You won't. How do you know? Because you're standing here. Still fighting. Still choosing to stay. She took his face in her hands. The old Taehyun would have run by now. You're not him anymore. He broke then. Really broke. And Ada held him in that warehouse while he mourned a child he never knew existed. While he grieved for the man he'd been and the pain that man had caused. While he finally faced the full weight of his past. But they couldn't stay. Emika was transferred to Seoul National University Hospital. The best doctors, the best equipment, Chairwoman Kwon's personal oversight. He'll wake up, Mi-sun promised Ada. I'm sending specialists from Japan. Whatever it takes. Why are you helping us? Ada asked. After Taehyun left the syndicate, after everything. Because he's my son. And you make him happy in a way I never could. Mi-sun's expression softened almost imperceptibly. His father would have hated you. Would have seen you as a weakness. But I think you're his greatest strength. She left them alone with Emeka. Ada sat beside her brother's bed, holding his hand, watching the monitors that tracked his heartbeat, his breathing, his brain activity. He looked smaller somehow. Vulnerable in a way he'd never been back home in Lagos. I'm sorry, she whispered to him. You came to Seoul to protect me and I nearly got you killed. But I promise you're going to wake up. And when you do, I'm taking you home. Taehyun stood behind her, hands on her shoulders, offering silent support. They waited. Hours passed. Doctors came and went. Nurses adjusted medications. The sun rose higher in the sky, filling the room with pale light. And then, just when hope had started to feel like foolishness, Emeka's finger twitched. Ada. Taehyun's grip tightened. Look. Emeka's eyes moved beneath his lids. Rapid. Restless. Emeka. Ada leaned forward, heart pounding. Emeka, can you hear me? His hand squeezed hers. Weak. Barely there. But real. Get the doctor. Ada's voice cracked. Taehyun, get the doctor. The next hour blurred into a rush of activity. Doctors rushed in. Tests were run. Monitors beeped frantically. And slowly, miraculously, Emeka Okonkwo opened his eyes. Ada? His voice was barely a rasp. I'm here. She was crying and laughing at the same time. I'm right here. You're awake. You're finally awake. Where am I? What happened? You were in an accident. You've been in a coma for months. But you're okay. You're going to be okay. Emeka's eyes focused on Taehyun standing in the corner. Who's that? Ada and Taehyun exchanged a look. That's a very long story, Ada said. But the short version? He's the man I love. And he's the reason you're in the best hospital in Seoul instead of dead in a warehouse. Taehyun stepped forward and bowed respectfully. It's an honor to meet you, Emeka. Your sister has told me everything about you. Emeka studied him with growing awareness. You're Korean. Yes. You're with my sister. Yes. Are you good to her? I'm trying to be. Emeka looked at Ada. Does Mama know? Not yet. I was going to tell her when you woke up. She's going to kill you. Then kill him. Then bring you both back to life and kill you again. Despite everything, despite the months of fear and the warehouse and the almost dying, Ada laughed. I know. Good. As long as you know what you're getting into. Emeka squeezed her hand. I'm happy for you, sister. You deserve someone who makes you smile like that. 3 weeks later, Emeka was well enough to travel. Still weak, still recovering, but alive and whole and making jokes about Korean hospital food. I'm just saying, where is the jollof rice? He complained as Ada packed his bag. They keep bringing me kimchi and I don't know what to do with it. Everything tastes like sadness and fermented vegetables. You'll learn to love it, Taehyun said from the doorway. He's not staying long enough to develop a taste for it, Ada said firmly. We're going home. To Lagos. All of us. All of us? Emeka looked at Taehyun. You're coming too. If you'll have me. I'd like to meet your mother. Properly. You're going to ask my Nigerian mother for permission after you've already been dating Ada for months? Is that bad? You're going to die. She's going to end you. Emeka, stop scaring him, Ada said. I'm not scaring him, I'm preparing him. There's a difference. The flight to Lagos was long but peaceful. Emeka slept most of the way, still recovering. Ada held Taehyun's hand and watched her brother breathe, grateful for every rise and fall of his chest. Lagos hit them like a wave. Heat. Noise. Color everywhere. Vendors shouting, traffic blaring, music spilling from every corner. It was chaos and home all at once, and Ada felt something in her chest loosen for the first time in months. Mrs. Okonkwo waited at arrivals. She was small but formidable. Gray-streaked hair pulled back in a head wrap, Eyes that missed nothing. She saw Emeka first, rushed forward, tears streaming, speaking rapid Igbo as she touched his face, his hands, confirming he was real and alive and home. Then she saw Taehyun. Her eyes narrowed. Mama, this is. I know who he is. Ada calls me every week. Tells me about the friend who's helping her in Seoul. Mrs. Okonkwo looked Taehyun up and down. You're the Korean. Yes, ma'am. My name is Kwon Taehyun. It's an honor to meet you. You have tattoos. Yes, ma'am. Show me. Mama, Ada started. I want to see what kind of man my daughter brought home. Taehyun slowly rolled up his sleeve, revealing the dragon coiling up his forearm. Mrs. Okonkwo studied it in silence. Then, surprisingly, nodded once. My husband had marks too. Tribal. From his village. He was a good man. She looked up at Taehyun. Are you a good man? I'm trying to be. Trying is not being. We shall see. She turned and walked toward the exit without another word. Emeka grinned. That went well. That was good. She didn't mention calling the pastor to pray over you. Trust me. That's good. The next week tested every ounce of courage Taehyun possessed. He learned to eat with his hands. Failed miserably at helping in the kitchen. Nearly died from the pepper in the egusi soup. And every night, Mrs. Okonkwo watched. Evaluated. Judged. Until the night she found him alone on the balcony, looking out at the Lagos skyline. You make her happy, she said. Not a question. I try, ma'am. You have enemies. A dangerous past. Yes. Can you protect her from it? I'll die trying. Mrs. Okonkwo was quiet for a long moment. Then, when are you going to marry her? Taehyun nearly choked. We haven't discussed. Either make it official or stop wasting her time. She walked back inside, leaving him standing there with his heart pounding. Marriage. He'd run from it once. With Yuna. Because he'd been scared. Uncertain. Because he'd known he wasn't ready to be the man someone else deserved. But with Ada? The idea didn't terrify him. It felt right. 3 months later, Taehyun knelt in Mrs. Okonkwo's kitchen and asked for her blessing. I want to marry Ada. With your permission. Mrs. Okonkwo looked at him for a long moment. Then she smiled. It's about time. The proposal happened on a beach at sunset. Ada thought they were just taking a walk, enjoying the evening, watching the waves roll in from the Atlantic. Then Taehyun stopped. Turned to face her. Ada Okonkwo. 3 months ago, I was the head of a criminal syndicate. I was powerful. Feared. Untouchable. He took her hands in his. I was also empty. Broken. More alone than I'd ever been in my life. Taehyun. Then you stumbled into my bedroom at 2 a.m. Covered in someone else's blood. Terrified but trying so hard to be brave. His voice cracked. And you changed everything. He knelt in the sand. Ada's hands flew to her mouth. You taught me that strength isn't about control. It's about choosing love even when it's terrifying. You taught me that I could be more than my father's son. More than the monster they created. He pulled out a ring. Simple. Beautiful. A small diamond catching the fading light. So I'm asking you, Ada Okonkwo, cleaner, business owner, the bravest person I've ever known. Will you marry me? Wait. Taehyun's heart stopped. Before you finish. Ada's eyes were full. I need to know. Are you sure? Really sure? Because I'm not easy. I'm stubborn and proud and I'll fight you on everything. I know. And I want children. And I want them to know both cultures, Korean and Nigerian, and that's going to be complicated. I know. And your mother still scares me. Ada. He stood up, cupped her face in his hands. I'm sure. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. So I'm asking again. Marry me? She kissed him. Long and deep and tasting of salt from tears. Yes. You ridiculous man. Yes. The wedding was small but perfect. Ada wore traditional Igbo attire, gorgeous coral beads and gold against her skin. Taehyun wore a mix of Korean hanbok and Nigerian agbada, honoring both their worlds. Mrs. Okonkwo cried through the entire ceremony. Emeka walked Ada down the aisle, tears in his eyes, whispering that their father would be proud. Minjun flew in from Seoul to stand as Taehyun's best man. No longer in the syndicate, working as a legitimate security consultant now, trying to rebuild his life. Chairwoman Kwon attended via video call, giving her blessing from across the ocean. Be happy, my son, she said. That's all I ever wanted for you. Yuna sent a letter. Taehyun and Ada. I'm doing better. Real therapy, real work on myself. I'm learning to live with the loss instead of letting it consume me. Thank you for giving me the chance to heal instead of destroying myself. Thank you for showing me that revenge isn't the same as justice. I'm not ready to see you yet. Maybe I never will be. But I want you to know I forgive you. Both of you. And I hope you build the life I couldn't. With peace, Yuna. Ada cried when she read it. Taehyun held her and whispered that Yuna was going to be okay. That they were all going to be okay. The reception was loud and chaotic, full of dancing and laughter and too much food. Taehyun was pulled into Nigerian dancing circles, failed spectacularly, tried anyway. Aunties passed him from one to another, feeding him, advising him, welcoming him into a family he'd never known he needed. Ada watched him from across the room, her heart so full it ached. You look happy, Emeka said, appearing beside her. I am. Happier than I ever thought possible. He's good for you. Weird. Foreign. Can't dance to save his life. But good. The best. Dad would have liked him. Eventually. After threatening him extensively. Yeah. He would have. That night, after the guests had left and the decorations were coming down, Ada and Taehyun stood on the beach where he'd proposed. We did it, Ada said. We actually made it. Against all odds. He pulled her close. Former crime lord and a cleaner. Who would have thought? Your mother. She probably had this planned from the beginning. Knowing her? Absolutely. They swayed together, no music except the waves. What happens now? Ada asked. We live. We build our business. We fight. We make up. We get old together and argue about whose turn it is to cook. You don't know how to cook. Then you'll cook and I'll wash dishes. Division of labor. She laughed. Sounds perfect. It does, doesn't it? They stayed on that beach until sunrise, two people who'd survived violence and betrayal and impossible odds. Two people who'd chosen love over everything. A year later, Ada stood in their Lagos home, heavily pregnant, watching the sunset paint the sky in gold and orange. Taehyun came in from work, dropped his bag, and immediately knelt before her. Hello, little one, he said in Korean, pressing his lips to her belly. Your father had a very long day, but seeing you makes everything better. Ada ran her fingers through his hair, laughing. You know the baby doesn't understand Korean yet. Never too early to start. He looked up at her with more love than she'd ever thought possible. Have I told you today that I love you? Only 3 times. Then I'm behind. He stood, kissed her properly. I love you, Ada Okonkwo-kwan. I love you too. Around them, their home held the evidence of the life they'd built. Photos on the walls of their wedding, of Emeka's graduation, of Mrs. Okonkwo holding the ultrasound with tears of joy. A life built from ashes. Beautiful. Whole. Free. The sun set over Lagos. And Ada Okonkwo-kwan, who had once been just a cleaner with dreams too big for her circumstances, held her husband close and felt nothing but peace. This was their happily ever after. Hard won. Blood bought. And absolutely, perfectly theirs. Thank you for taking this journey with us. If this story touched you, if you felt something, you know what to do. Subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to believe in love today. And remember, love isn't about perfection. It's about choosing each other. Every single day. No matter what. Until next time. Stay blessed.